Hey guys, I'm Deni as always. The last few days a lot of cooperative games have been released, and it makes me think that we should make a topical selection of great cooperative games. Today will be both novelties and just great games, where you should definitely get in with your friends. Click on the like, click on subscribe if you haven't already, and let's go! Do you miss adrenaline and dynamic gameplay? The perfect place to get it all? Good old Crossout. Tense battles, dozens of different vehicles, and hundreds of parts for their customization are waiting for you. You can make a powerful, bulletproof tank and destroy your enemies just by the look of it. Or make something smaller, but fast, and get in the back of unsuspecting enemies. In any case, Crossout is the best place to show everyone who is a real pro. Download the game at the link in the description. Let's start with Enshrouded, which my friends and I completed in 4 days. All of it up to the maximum level. We had to stay awake, but that's the proof that the game is cool. Here we have a mixture of survival with RPG adventure, with the exploration of dungeons, building a base, a mountain of loot, which you can and knock off the mobs and create your own. Plus, add here different classes of characters, pumping with a branch of talents, and it is still possible to combine it and become an archer mage, or they're a warrior with a shield, but which in case of what and a magic wand can shut up. The only thing that is a little strange is that for staffs you need spells. Well, in the sense that they're expendable, like some arrows from a bow. Of course, yes, there are some eternal, but you will not have them for a long time. But this is a small thing. Otherwise, a great game. Is there any comments needed here? The best game of last year, which will unfold for you in a whole new way if you play it in co-op. When each of you runs not as a pack of 4 characters, but separately. Constantly, there will be situations when someone is off somewhere, got into a fight, can't cope, and you are still on the shore running, patching boxes with holes. Fun! And again, each of you can create your own separate character. Another point is that you will miss some of the plot twists, but how much fun and bullshit in the bug can create. All in all, we had a blast, and I suggest you do the same. What could be more beautiful than putting some man in a Pokeball and making him work at your base until his heart rate drops? The developers of Palworld couldn't find anything better and created a game based on it. And yes, they also threw in some Pokemon to make it a little more diverse, and no one said anything about slavery. And so you're a guy with a machine gun and the ability to shoot at anything that moves. The main quest, to catch everyone and everything, and most importantly, to defeat all the boxes of local towers. And believe me, they are very strong. So you can sit in Pokemon for a very long time, but it's a great game. Probably one of the best cooperative games of the last few years. No, I'm not minimizing the merits of Phasmophobia. It's great, but I found it a bit boring. And here, the local perverted men will not let you get bored. Moreover, if you played only on release, you will be happy to know that developers have already added a couple of new missions, with completely different maps, tasks, and monsters, of course, too. Plus, expanded the pumping options, added a little customization. In general, well done. Watch out. So I recommend getting in with friends if you haven't tried it yet. And this is the legendary Helldivers, where you and your friends will really learn what bugs are and how to squash them. And no, you can't squash the local cockroaches with your slippers. They'll be a little bigger and they'll eat your slipper and your foot. Here, we are in a co-op of 4 people, collect junk from a vast arsenal of weapons, fall on the superland, and destroy everything that at least somehow resembles a bug. With beautiful graphics and an abundance of all sorts of exploding things. Looks pretty cool to me. Maybe we need something serious and realistic. Taking into account that Payday 3 shat itself and is now resting with 300 people online, it is better to pay attention to the simulator of real special forces. Especially that here, the developers for 2 years of the game's existence have changed it beyond recognition. Not only that the new missions appeared, as well as the enemies have become smarter, the sensations have become more pleasant. Yes, they even lobby, which was empty at first, strongly modified. In general, now the game is not recognized, and if you want tactical actions with a friend and whisper in each other's ear in the radio, you are here. It's awesome. And this is one of the 2 most adequate pirate cooperative games, and if Sea of Thieves is some kind of a bit dubious genre of just traveling, then suddenly it's Battle Royale. You are waiting for not bad graphics, some factor of skill to shoot, so stupidly win because of the fallen bazooka cannot. The element of a cohesive team is also present. This is not PUBG or Fortnite, where one cyber athlete can win squads in solo. No, here the whole team is a cohesive mechanism, and if the ship is designed for 4 people, then the 3 on it will be difficult to win. All in all, a cool thing. And here, you really have 2 options. If you are a little skeptical of 2D graphics, you can go to Risk of Rain 2. There is a view from 3-person, otherwise I highly recommend Returns because I feel that there is more content there. You are also waiting for the good old cooperative roguelike, where you, choosing one of the many different characters, will be beating enemies and collecting various improvements, which try to each other. This means that if you have 10 speed boosts, you really have 10 of them and you run 10 times faster. And so it is with everything. There are no limits. It all depends on how long you last and how many different improvements you can find. So after 30 minutes of play, you and your friends will be killer cars and it will be even more fun to play. If suddenly there are only 2 of you and you want to mindlessly shoot at some slingshot, its place will be perfectly taken by Roboquest. In general, it's a race very similar to Gunfire Reborn. Here it's banal fun to shoot. A lot of guns, everything sounds well and animated, and enemies actively react to hits. Content in general hours for 30 plus or minus. Pumping the bass and constant improvements will be over by the 30th hour. Well, and plus, there are 8 difficulty levels in the game. The first 6 are passable by anything and any build. The last 2 already give a smoke and strongly depend on luck during the race. All in all, it's a great shooter where it's interesting to play with a variety of loot. If shooters are not for you, there is another option to have a nice rest in co-op, even with turn-based battles. This is for the king too. In general, it is also a roguelike, but also a RPG, where we are in a cooperative up to 4 people, go to fight with the evil queen and the forces of evil. Compared to the first part of the game has become more linear and drives already on the plot. But on some missions there's time to explore, especially if you reduce the speed of chaos in the complexity settings. Combat system became much more interesting. It added an uncomplicated tactical element, although it doesn't blow your mind, but it was definitely lacking in the first part. All in all, an interesting thing. Lethal Company is probably one of the best games where you can basically send a large set of friends, especially if you expand the number of players with the help of mods. And in general, if you've tried to play it without mods, make sure to add them. Different and more. At the end can get a whole new game which will give a lot of new emotions. Well, for those who do not know what it is, we are slaves here and work for the company mining various garbage from different maps. We sell this garbage once every 3 days to a big and voracious monster, get money and all over again. And considering the fact that developers are constantly releasing new updates, it's fun to play every time. Well, another shooter, Beautiful Outriders, which released a lot of different new content with the addition of World Slayer. Here we are out of the fridge and have superpowers. Your partners are just as badass. You wake up, realize the world is fucked up, and go to war. As for me, one of the best looter shooters, ideal for co-op. Interesting plot, peculiar humor, plus all the classes have good colorful skills, and all weapons are like howitzers from Warhammer, which shoots other howitzers. Thanks to this, all enemies are scattered just in bloody guts on the map. All in all, it's fun. Well, naturally, we need to get a new Suicide Squad. We get here in a big city. In the person of one of the members of the squad, you choose who you want to play as. Well, and your friends can also choose. Gameplay here is quite cheerful, and each character is in his place, which is very good for cooperative, which the game is oriented on. You can see that the game was made by Rocksteady. The game is a lot of fun. New tricks that simplify the process of killing enemies are constantly being discovered. Gadgets, the same elemental effects on the main character's weapons. Everything is very organic. Sometimes it is even difficult, and the game is able to challenge by throwing a variety of meat, from enemies in close combat to sneakers. All in all, it's a short one to take a look at. One of the best vampire games is V-Rising, all the more so because the developers have been updating it quite successfully, adding more and more diverse content. If you suddenly miss it, let me explain. You wake up in a coffin half-dead and hungry. From the former, greatness left only the smell of breath, and underpants ragged, so your quest is to bring back the greatness and scare the locals, because the father vampire is back, and no vampire hunter can cope with you. You are waiting for the construction of the base, pumping unusual and quite dynamic combat system, and jumping through the bushes. Why? Well, because it's sunny and you don't like it here and have to jump on the bushes. Well, and at night you can already go wild, especially if you have a lot of vampires in one clan. Well, that's it for today. I hope you found something interesting for yourself, and therefore clicked on the like and subscribe too. Well, with you was as always Deni, and have a nice day.